I'm Commissioner Mary Amoroso, and welcome to the Bergen County Commissioners Podcast. Domestic violence is an issue that affects every community, often below the surface, quietly and too often in the shadows. In Bergen County, one initiative is bringing victims, families, and service providers together in the same room, creating connections, building trust, and opening doors to resources that can change lives. Today, I'm joined by New Milford Councilman Matt Seymour, the founder of the Domestic Violence Symposium, to talk about how the program began, how it's grown, and the difference it is making for residents. And we should say at the top, thank you, Councilman, for being with us, that the next New Milford Domestic Violence Symposium is October 22nd in New
Yes,
Milford, and
yes,
open to everybody.
yes. We're open for live attendance in person, and we
Yes.
will also have a simultaneous live stream.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let's go to our questions. So what prompted you to found the Domestic Violence Symposium, Matt?
And Commissioner, thank you for the great opportunity and an invitation to speak with you today. It's a great privilege and honor. Thank you. Before I even thought of this program, uh, shortly after I completed my law school studies, I started to focus as an attorney helping victims of domestic violence. And to that end, I fulfilled a fellowship at Partners for Women in Justice in Essex County and quickly discovered that many victims and survivors don't know where to go, don't
Mm-hmm.
know whom to call for the most basic forms of assistance. And when you add to this complexity the fact that most of these victims and survivors don't have the money and resources to travel to many different places, I began to think of a way to simplify providing information to victims and to think of a way to also humanize the service providers and professionals so people don't feel as intimidated. So I created the symposium with two goals in mind. The first goal was to provide the information to survivors and their families about which agencies can help with emergency housing, emergency child support, immigration assistance, pro
Legal
bono.
advice.
Yes, yes, a pro bono lawyer for a restraining order, as well as family court applications for support, as well as potentially, as we just mentioned, an attorney to help with immigration assistance. Uh, but also, another goal was to humanize the professionals, to make them less intimidating, to show the survivors that the prosecutors, the police, the counselors are everyday people like you and I and like the survivors, their mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and have the same emotions and understanding.
So we know that very often the survivors who are living day to day in an environment where they are abused, you get used to and isolated, right? Their abusers isolate them from any support system. So you're trying to jump over that barrier by showing them the faces behind the services that are out there and that we should point out are free.
Yes, absolutely. And we're also, I believe, the only county in New Jersey that has a county-run, county-provided agency, which is dedicated to help domestic violence survivors. Bergen County Alternatives to Domestic Violence is not only incredible and amazing in the work that they provide to victims, they're truly unique, and that people can go to them for guidance to get the restraining order when it's necessary for protection. They can also go to Bergen County ADV for assistance with emergency housing and counseling and so many other important services. And it's truly incredible to have the fantastic staff from ADV not only serve on our panel each year, but to serve as a true partner in this program. And I give great thanks and gratitude and appreciation to their director, Marisa Hellick, whom has done an incredible job, Commissioner, since she has taken over at the helm at ADV. And this in turn makes victims and survivors much more comfortable asking for help and accepting the help that's offered.
And we should point out that Alternatives to Domestic Violence, our county agency, provides services in a variety of languages. And very often, victims of domestic or intimate partner violence, their culture may really frown on reaching out for help around the, say, patriarchal structure.
You couldn't say it better, Commissioner. This is such a systemic problem, and it's frightening when we try to bring a case as lawyers to court for an application for a restraining order, and we have difficulty not only getting witnesses who are willing to come forward and speak and advocate for the victim in court, but oftentimes the victims themselves are scared and uncomfortable to come forward because they're undocumented and they're
Yeah.
terrified of being deported simply for appearing and testifying against the one who is not only abusing them, but in some cases, the one who is sponsoring them.
So let's talk to this point. So what legal supports do undocumented abuse survivors, what can they count on?
Well, Commissioner, this is certainly not my specialty as a family law attorney. I'm not an immigration lawyer, but what I can say is this. There are laws in place. One, for example, is we call VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act. It's a federal law, it's a federal statute, and it provides certain protections and rights to victims of domestic violence. One of these rights is the right of a victim to self-petition for status if and when the one sponsoring the survivor is in fact the abuser. So the VAWA statute, the Violence Against Women Act, provides a path, provides an avenue for survivors to seek help and protection while at the same time continuing along a path towards obtaining status.
Okay, that's good to hear. Can you share an example of how meeting providers face to face at the symposium changed someone's life trajectory, their comfort level in seeking assistance?
I can,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Okay.
And actually, it was just recently, about a year ago, a survivor came forward and said a wonderful thing. And she said to me that not all heroes wear capes. And she was alluding to the fact that after attending the symposium and meeting the professionals who are part of our symposium, who are all from these organizations, the panelists from Bergen County Alternatives to Domestic Violence, the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, the Bergen County Sheriff's Office, the New Milford Police Department, Women's Rights Information Center, a Partnership for Change, Center for Hope and Safety, formerly known as Shelter Our Sisters, and the other organizations and nonprofits which volunteer help, also including, of course, the fantastic Never Alone Again agency in Teaneck.
Yes.
This survivor mentioned that she felt more comfortable talking to these professionals because she could relate to them better. She didn't feel judged by them. She didn't feel criticized by them. She didn't feel spoken down to by them. She felt that she was talking to other people who really understood her needs and her family's concerns and priorities, and who, quite honestly, experienced many of the same things themselves at some point in their lives that this survivor was experiencing at this point in hers.
Okay. And I know that you have people come live, but also you're streaming online. You get a lot of people streaming online. People are afraid, right? Even to come out?
Yes. Yes. In fact, that's one of, I believe, the primary reasons we get more of a following on the live stream than in person. Let's think about this. If we're having a symposium, in this case, on Wednesday, October 22nd at 6:30 p.m. in the New Milford High School auditorium, that means the survivor has to have a reason to leave her home for several hours that night. If the survivor is still at this time living with the abuser, number one, what is that story or reason going to be? And number two, the bigger question becomes, does leaving to attend the symposium increase that survivor's risk level when they return home? So for this reason, many survivors are both safer and more comfortable waiting until a time that they can watch and listen on a live stream privately at their own discretion. And to that end, our tech team, which is fantastic, I can't say enough things about Dan Preet from the New Milford High School, who runs our live stream. We live stream it to the New Milford Public School District's YouTube channel, where it remains forever freely accessible and watchable. So survivors can watch not only the symposium we have coming up on October 22nd, they can watch ones from every previous year as well. And not only that, can fast forward to different topics that are of particular interest. And I think that this is a great resource.
And that's a safe way to plug in to our resources. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the fest. So you started in New Milford. We were there, many of the commissioners in 2019, but you've been in different venues.
Yes, we have.
Uh, how has that shaped the symposium?
It's been honestly, this part has been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to help people. It's a lot of fun to feel that we're making a difference. It doesn't feel like work. It's honestly, this is the part that we enjoy most. When we started this program in New Milford, understandably, people suggested other topics that they wanted to discuss. One such topic was sexual assault awareness and how sexual assault plays a role in the intimate partner violence realm and field in domestic violence. So, to that end, we also created and initiated a symposium at Ramapo College in Mahwah in partnership with President Cindy Jebb, in partnership with their fantastic Office of Violence Protection and Maria Teese, and started a program there as well in the spring. And we've had symposia at Ramapo where we've discussed dating violence. We've discussed sexual assault awareness in April in recognition of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And at those symposia, we've had panelists from the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office Special Victims Unit attend, and a variety of counselors from Bergen County, ADV, and other agencies. And it's just another way to get a message out. And it's also a way to provide more of a tailored uh, information stream about help. And one of the things I find very rewarding about the programs at Ramapo College is the fact that we're able to talk to young college age undergraduate students who are there in person and are there and want help both for themselves, but also for other people that they know at the college to provide assistance. So it's really been a tremendous honor. We've also very privileged recently. We had Alexis Ruland speak and partner with us, and she is a partner with us in this program. She was also, of course, attended Ramapo College and was assaulted
Uh-huh.
and was courageous enough to come forward and joined our program as a partner, and her assailant is currently incarcerated.
Mm. And this is an important theme to resonate, which is that we are trying to reach different audiences. So it's great to get into the college world. And also, our agency, Alternatives to Domestic Violence, is focusing on the high school and middle school population. You can be manipulated by an intimate partner, and so I'm glad you're at the college level. Um,
And Commissioner,
yeah,
I also just wanted to mention, I forgot a moment ago, but it's just as important. We've also started symposia at Bergen Newbridge Medical Center.
yeah,
And we have focused to that end on the trauma component to intimate partner violence and how victims and survivors deal with the trauma. In some cases, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and how they recover from that, and how they can break the cycle of domestic violence, how
yeah.
they can get the help they need. And also, when we had a symposium at Bergen Newbridge Medical Center in September of 2023, we specifically talked about how abuse presents in the emergency department at a hospital
Oh,
and how it's handled and addressed.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, that's very interesting. Um, if there's one takeaway you want listeners to remember from our conversation, what would it be?
If you need help, all you need to do is ask. And if you know someone else who needs help, you can also be the one to ask and then provide the information to your friend, your coworker, your family member, your relative, or loved one. This is a true community initiative, and domestic violence affects our entire community, not just individuals. It affects entire families.
So, what do you suggest somebody do if they think a friend of theirs, a relative of theirs, is being abused?
It's obviously a challenging situation.
Mm,
In those situations, I'd recommend that the person who wants to help obtain as much information about resources that are available first, and then in a very loving way at the right time, provide that information to the loved one or the friend who's in need of help in a non-threatening way, not
Yeah,
in a way of sort of telling a person what they should do or need to do, because that never works, but
right.
rather saying to a person, if you need some help, have you considered calling here or calling there? This is where you can call to get this type of assistance.
Hmm. Okay, and always that they reach out safely, watch online when they feel safe to do so.
Yes.
Um, okay, thank you, Councilman Seymour. Thank you for
Thank you, Commissioner.
sharing the story of your domestic violence symposium and the important work it's doing in Bergen County. Again, we emphasize that we have a symposium coming up October 22nd, correct?
Yes, it's 6:30 p.m. at the new Milford High School.
And you can watch it online.
Yes.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. You can contact Bergen County's Alternatives to Domestic Violence program at 201 336 7575 or reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE. For ideas for future podcast topics, email us at podcasts@bergencountyNJ.gov. Thanks for listening to the Bergen County Commissioners Podcast. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Commissioner Amoroso. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting our program from the beginning. And I thank the Board of Commissioners and the County Executive not only for your support, but for your partnership in this program since we started this in October of 2019.